All right, we got a flying squirrel job, and I've done the exterior inspection. And a hot spot from my experience with flying squirrels is usually right by the chimney, especially since it's mostly a brick structure. We had a missing piece of trim, I guess, that blew off. That's allowing these guys to go right in that little hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna insulate our colony cage very well. I got this this nose cone on it. I made it a hardware cloth because a lot of times when you're dealing with flyers, they're in a really difficult area. So kind of make these out of hardware cloth so it can conform to anything it has to. A lot of times these flyers, they do die in the traps. So I'm trying my hardest to insulate this trap well enough to where they won't expire. I always like to squeeze the sides of my trap to get it as close as I possibly can to that one-way door, because I've had them squeeze in and out beside there. Reminder to squeeze your traps closed next to that door. This is exactly what I was talking about with the flexible nose cone. So you can see I had to bend it all types of certain ways to kind of get it to conform to the entry point without having to do a bunch of extra stuff. So you can see I folded that one up, tucked it under the shingle, and they pretty much have nowhere to go besides into this trap in order to get outside. In my experience, I've always caught them the following day, in the day following that. So within 2 days, I'll usually get the entire colony. We'll get that piece patched up, and tomorrow we'll see how many we got. All right, so here's some key indicators that you have flying squirrels. Flying squirrels use, for better terminology, communal bathrooms. So, which means they all like to use the bathroom in the same place or in the same area. So if you have some mouse-like droppings, you know, grouped up all in one area just like this, I mean, you can see there's thousands of them over here, and a bunch of solidified urine, and you know, this is all caked up from all the urine and everything. Now, if you had all these scattered out all over the place, might lean a little bit towards mice, just because their droppings are kind of similar in size. Rats, the droppings are a lot bigger, and believe it or not, when you've been doing this for long enough, you can actually smell the difference between any type of animal. And again, flying squirrels are very small. When it comes to wildlife trapping, they're almost similar to rats and mice. So you got to be super thorough on your exterior and fine-tooth comb everything on the roof line, and sometimes, you know, even lower parts on the foundation. But from what I've trapped, they've always been on the roof line, because they come from these trees and jump and glide onto the roof, and then they'll crawl to their spot. Especially with this being a brick structure, they can essentially get anywhere. And I've found that gable up there has a small entry point where they've been chewing, and there's a brown spot on one of those louvers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna temporarily slap some hardware cloth over top. I'm not gonna cut a precise measurement yet, because I wanna funnel them in this direction to get them in that main entry point right there. Okay, we used some scraps from what we had in the truck to do a temporary seal. I know it looks funny, but I promise this isn't gonna be the final result by any means. We just need to contain them and funnel them to one spot. We're back at the flyer job. We had a bunch of rain yesterday, so I was telling my customers, you know, we may not have activity for a little while if they barricade themselves inside because of the rain. We got 4 of them in there. Wow. And unfortunately, they did pass away. You know what I'm gonna do next time is I'm gonna insulate these traps with a bunch of cotton or some type of, you know, a t-shirt in there or something, because, you know, that didn't deserve to happen. But man, I hate that. All right, so here's the 4 that we caught, and unfortunately these little guys didn't make it. It's pretty common with those colony traps that they don't make it, especially in these temperatures. So next time I'm gonna insulate the trap with a bunch of cotton and t-shirts and material that they can actually get warm in. But you know, they also die from or expire from different reasons, such as just being in the trap alone. You know, it can cause them to you know, go into a state of panic, and with them being so small, their hearts are so small, and sometimes they just can't take it. But you know, there's no real way to live trap these guys because they're so small to set off regular cage traps. So it's either catch them in the snap trap or catch them all at once in the colony cage. That's a better option for the customer. But we got them out. And what do you know? We caught 2 more. Thankfully, this guy's still alive. That way I can let him go somewhere far, far away. Caught this guy in the house. Look at this little guy. Hey. Hey, dude. These things are so cute, man. I love flying squirrels. It's a shame that most of them die. They don't handle stress very well. Yeah, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. They really got in the glove to stay warm together. It's so cute. Alright, guys, you go free now. This way. No. Oh, shit. Oh! Dude, no. It's in my hoodie. Alright, so it's been about a good 4 days since we've had any activity. We're gonna go ahead and fabricate something to seal off this hole with some white aluminum flashing. We also need to put a little bit of drip edge in here, or some flashing to close off that builder's gap. Alright, this is what the repair looks like. Just bent some aluminum flashing to hug the pitch of the roof and wrap around this corner. Installed some drip edge down there. Closed it all up so it's a solid repair. This is never coming undone right here, so get you a little piece of flashing. Set it over to the side. Bust that tar strip on your shingles. Cut the back side. This piece of flashing. Go underneath that shingle. Slide it in just like that. And make sure that's pushed down all the way. And then take your gun one more time. Get you a nice dab of it right there. And then a dab of it on the corner, right on the tar strip to hold that shingle down. So then you're gonna push down again. Alright. That shingle's not going anywhere. And you're gonna hit him with one of these. Now that we got our main entry point sealed up, let's go ahead and get our other entry points. Make sure you're sealing up every potential entry point, because if not, you're gonna have callbacks and you're gonna have more flyers get back in, and it's just gonna be a waste of your time. So make sure you're really thorough about your exclusion work. Is take my measurements of the gable, trace out a pattern on a piece of flashing, write the measurements, and cut and bend accordingly. Okay, so you traced out the profile with your measurements. You got the 1-inch aluminum hem sandwiched in between. You clamped it in. This is what it should look like when you have pieces intersecting in the middle. You want to cut it so it fits inside that hem, and it looks like still seamless in one piece. All right, so we got the dry fit. Fits amazing, but these cable lines can be a pain, so we're gonna have to notch around for those. And this is what it looks like all installed, all caulked in. And this is gonna be flying squirrel and wildlife proof. All right, so we've looked over the whole roof line. We've done all the dormers where the shingles kick up. We've done the gable vents. We've done that missing piece of flashing on the other side where the main source of entry was. And I can confidently say this home is flying squirrel free now. See you on the next one.